Hello, trading is closed on March 24th, 2021. First order of business, as always, is our disclaimer. This is my trading plan for tomorrow, March 25th, 2021. I can be completely wrong, so trade at your own risk. Please observe the rules of my channel. My email is mejt.trades@gmail.com. We call for the pattern with the early high. There it is, and tomorrow's pattern has the early low. We had a higher MEJT target, 39.4757. I thought it probably wouldn't print, and it didn't. I thought yesterday's action was negative. I looked for lower prices, and before the day was out, we certainly got them. This is just a reminder of what we said. Should lead to lower prices. That didn't have to close lower, but it did. We had to use the mixed signal rules. None of these things happened. We didn't get the gap and prompt move outside the range. We didn't close, it'll change. So we have the least common thing, but none of those things happen. Let's review the signals from today. When we dropped here, there was an optional target. We trade over this line. We got that. MEJT said this rally was false, wouldn't stick. Said this drop was false, wouldn't stick. Said this gave an ultimate buy signal here, and that certainly worked. It was given in this afternoon pattern. We did trade higher, more than the minimum. And there's nothing in MEJT requiring this move to retrace. This move is a retest of the old low. So let's take a look and see. See how this stopped right at the FOMC announcement? That's support resistance. Now we undercut 38.98.81, and that should complete a 2B top, meaning the high's in. You have to confirm this by trading under today's close by 1 cent. If we gap up tomorrow, if that happens, this break does not count. You have to trade 1 cent under it. Now we have this big trend line. We dropped right to the line. Now when you drop to the line but not through it, especially with a strong move like this, the rule is you either gap under the line or the line wins. So we have a wall into the close. A lot of times this is panic selling in the last hour of the day. Stopped right at that upper trend line, which is support. And either you break under that support or this gets reversed. You go up. Now the question is, how do you count this? I had 5 waves down. Then we had an ABC. We called that wave 2. And I was looking for a wave 3 as an impulse. Well, this is overlapping. It's not an impulse. If anything, that could be A. That could be B, and right at today's low, C is equal to A. So it's entirely possible that we're still in the consolidation, that this wave 1 count is right, that we've made A of 2, that today completed B of 2, and we could have, if we gap up, a wave C of 2, comparable to this wave A, which is a strong rally. Here's what we see at the retest. This low is under this low, but MACD is higher and RSI is higher. This low is a retest of this low, but the RSD is much lower here, and the RSI is lower here than it is here. So it tells us there's less force on this drop than there was on this one. Now we can still gap under the trend line I showed you, and all this stuff wouldn't mean much to me. But if we do gap up here, you can at least explain it. Tomorrow's pattern has a early low, doesn't mean you won't gap up. Typically, it's a rally day with a final hour high. The day is weak. Further weakness usually follows soon thereafter. We gapped up, hit a higher high, closed not only under the highs, but also under the lows. It's a very negative pattern, and unless we gap up smartly, we should see lower prices. But we dropped all day. We stopped right at the trend line. We couldn't undercut the March 19th low. It was also a wall into the close that's often followed by gapping up, and that's bullish. So we use the mixed signal rules. The wave count is that of a consolidation rather than an impulse down. We completed the 2B top, needing only to trade under today's close for confirmation that the top is in. Gapping under the rising trend line really should seal the deal. However, it's entirely possible that we gap up, have a rally to complete a three-wave consolidation. We could even satisfy yesterday's MEJT target. And if we get a sharp move at the open, I think that would clarify the picture. All we need to do for one more rally is to gap up smartly, and I don't think these numbers are out of reach. But if we just keep on dropping from here, it's pretty hard to see how we recover. Tomorrow has the early low. Tends to be a rally day. This certainly should be making a top here, but if we gap up, I look for, if we gap up smartly, especially if this whole thing gets reversed, look for the bulls to have one last hurrah before we finally do start an impulsive wave down, because that's not an impulse. And that's today's call.